Huh? Oh, hi. I was just playing some Phantom Hourglass, but is it? Oh yeah, it's Zelda time! Hey guys, and welcome to the Pirate Edition of the Zelda Universe Mailbag. Why is it the Pirate Edition? I have no idea, but I'm wearing a hat. So, we've got very few questions this week, and that's all your guys' fault. You gotta send in questions. We need your questions. The first question that we got is, well, it isn't really a Zelda question, but more a question about how we choose the questions from the mailbag. And just to clarify, it's different for every person that hosts the mailbag. Personally, what I do is I just look through all the questions and see if there's anything that personally interests me. There's no specific formula that we really use. It's not like, oh, if 7 people ask this question, then we will answer it. But if the question doesn't really interest me, I just skip it. Sorry. So on that note, our first question is, where in the timeline do you think the next Zelda game will take place? The time splinters into 3, so it could be added at the end of one of them, or it could be put just before Skyward Sword. And this question was asked by Jinzo64. I'm kind of really interested in the end of the timeline, and I've always thought the end of the timeline was The Legend of Zelda and the Adventure of Link. So I'd really like to see a game that takes place after the Adventure of Link, but something that takes place in that massive landscape that's Hyrule. Everything south of Death Mountain that we usually play in all of the games is just one tiny portion of this huge aspect of Hyrule. There's this whole section north of Death Mountain, and then a continent, extension of that continent to the east of it, and then a whole other continent across the ocean to the east, and then this big maze island thing. And I mean, there's just so much that they could do with that huge landscape in a future 3D style Zelda game. I'd really like to see something like that. And actually, I think I'm already done with this hat. Goodbye. That's better. So our next question comes from Super Mario 98 Able, who says, if Nintendo would make a mature Zelda game, what do you think it would be about, or how will it look? Maybe a death of someone special like Zelda can lead to a bloody battle against Ganondorf? So to answer your question, what would a mature Zelda game be like? It's not going to exist. I don't think Nintendo is ever going to make a game that can only be played by 17-year-old plus. That goes completely against their whole aesthetic. If they did, I think that the only thing that would be added would possibly be like blood splays. And I really can't see them doing that, but it's just really difficult for me to try to imagine what a mature Zelda game would be like, because I just know there's never going to be a mature Zelda game. And our next question comes from CrazyChick17, who says, what do you think about the theory that Link and Zelda and Ocarina of Time are related in some way, possibly siblings, as there's so many hints in the game that Link is a member of the royal family? I don't think I can think of one single hint that Link is a member of the royal family. You've got me stumped there, because as far as I'm aware, there's not even a single hint about that. In the game, we don't know anything really of Link's lineage. They just talk about how he grew up with the Kokiri and so on. I mean, if what you're basing this on is that Link and Zelda both have blonde hair. And so our final question comes from several people who are all kind of asking a similar sort of question about a game from Ganondorf's perspective. And, I mean, that is an interesting idea. I would be for it, but I don't think Nintendo would be. That's not really their style. It's kind of like with that mature thing. They have a very specific idea of what Zelda is, and 17 or some odd games later, they never really deviate too far from that script, so I can't really see them flipping that script and doing a dark, brooding story about this poor redhead who just wants to rule the world. That really doesn't seem like something that they're ever going to do. I would welcome it if they did, but I really don't think that they would ever do something like that. Okay, so that's going to about wrap us up for this mailbag. If you want a much longer mailbag, what you're going to have to do is ask us a lot of questions. And the way you can do that is click on this link down here in the description. That's going to take you over to our site where you can submit your questions. Of course, you can also still leave questions here as comments on the YouTube video. And until then, it's back to Phantom Hourglass for me. See ya! This is not working. Whatever. Ugh.